Let's talk about a vital topic today: protecting your brain as you age. For most seniors, memory loss is one of the biggest fears. But what if I told you that the very medications meant to help you sleep, calm anxiety, or ease allergies might actually be raising your risk of Alzheimer's? The truth is, research shows that some commonly prescribed drugs can shrink brain volume, disrupt memory pathways, and even triple your chances of developing dementia after 60. Yet millions of people still take them daily, unaware of the danger. Now, here's the part most people never hear. The brain doesn't easily recover from this damage. Once memory circuits weaken, they rarely rebuild themselves. That's why choosing safer options and knowing what to avoid becomes critical as you age. Good news, you're not powerless. While your genetics may play a role, the choices you make every day can dramatically influence how well your brain holds up. And it doesn't always require big changes. Imagine simply swapping one medication for a safer alternative and protecting decades of memories in the process. In this video, we'll reveal the 4 medications that silently damage the brain, explain how each one works, and share safer options you can discuss with your doctor. Stick around, because understanding this could protect your independence, your memory, and your future. Let's start with the first group of medications you need to be very cautious about: anticholinergics. These include familiar names like diphenhydramine, better known as Benadryl, along with certain bladder control pills and even some over-the-counter sleep aids. On the surface, these drugs seem harmless. They dry up a runny nose, ease nighttime allergies, or calm an overactive bladder so you can sleep through the night. But here's the hidden danger. Anticholinergics work by blocking a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. This chemical is not just another messenger. Acetylcholine is one of the brain's most important tools for memory, learning, and attention. When you repeatedly block acetylcholine, you slowly dim the brain's ability to form and retrieve memories. Over time, this can literally shrink areas like the hippocampus, the very part of your brain responsible for storing new information. In older adults, where brain cells are already more vulnerable, the effect is magnified. That's why multiple studies have linked long-term use of anticholinergics to faster cognitive decline and, in some cases, triple the risk of Alzheimer's. In fact, researchers from the University of Washington tracked nearly 3,500 older adults for over a decade. Those who used anticholinergic medications for 3 years or more had a significantly higher likelihood of developing dementia compared to those who didn't. Even scarier, the risk didn't go away after people stopped taking the drug. That means the damage can linger long after you toss the pill bottle. You might be wondering, how can a simple allergy pill or bladder control tablet cause such lasting harm? The answer lies in how essential acetylcholine is for maintaining connections between brain cells. Think of it like the wiring in your house. Every time you flip a switch, the signal travels through the wiring to light up the room. But if you cut the wiring in multiple places, the current weakens until the lights barely flicker. That's exactly what happens in your brain when acetylcholine is blocked night after night. And here's another layer of risk. Seniors often take more than one medication at the same time. Add an anticholinergic on top of other prescriptions, and the combined effect can push memory loss into overdrive. That's why geriatric specialists warn that older adults are especially vulnerable to the hidden toll of these drugs. So what can you do instead? The good news is there are safer alternatives. For allergies, non-sedating antihistamines like loratadine or cetirizine provide relief without interfering with acetylcholine. For bladder issues, doctors can often suggest non-drug therapies, pelvic floor exercises, or newer medications that don't have the same impact on memory. The key is to have an open conversation with your physician before making any changes. Never stop a medication on your own. If you're sitting at home thinking, "I've been taking one of these every night for years," don't panic. The first step is awareness. Simply knowing the risks gives you the power to bring it up with your doctor and explore safer options. Many seniors who switched away from anticholinergics reported clearer thinking, less brain fog, and even better energy once their acetylcholine levels normalized. So, while these medications may seem like a quick fix for allergies or bladder problems, the hidden cost could be decades of lost memories. Protecting your brain starts with protecting acetylcholine, the spark that keeps your mind sharp. Next on the list are benzodiazepines, commonly prescribed for anxiety, muscle tension, and especially sleep problems. You'll recognize the names: Valium, Xanax, Ativan. Millions of seniors use them every day, often thinking they're harmless because they're prescribed by a doctor. But what many don't realize is that these drugs quietly interfere with the very processes your brain depends on to stay sharp. Here's how they work. Benzodiazepines increase the activity of a neurotransmitter called GABA, which calms the nervous system. At first, this sounds like a good thing. Less anxiety, easier sleep, relaxed muscles. But there's a catch. By overstimulating GABA pathways, benzodiazepines slow down the brain's ability to form new connections. That means your memories don't consolidate properly, leaving gaps in recall and learning. Think of your brain like a library. Every day you create new books of experiences that need to be shelved. But when benzodiazepines are present, the librarians fall asleep, and the books pile up on the floor. The information is there, but it never gets stored in the right place. Over months and years, this repeated disruption translates into memory loss, confusion, and a higher risk of dementia. Research backs this up. A large French study involving more than 3,400 seniors found that those who used benzodiazepines regularly were up to 50% more likely to develop dementia. Another study in Canada showed that longer use was tied to even higher risks, especially when the drugs were taken for more than 6 months. The danger grows with age because older brains process medications more slowly, amplifying the side effects. And here's another hidden risk. Benzodiazepines interfere with REM sleep, the deep dream stage where your brain clears toxins and organizes memories. Without adequate REM, your brain can't reset properly, leaving you foggy, forgetful, and less resilient over time. Ironically, while these pills are meant to help with sleep, they strip away the very stage that protects your brain from decline. For seniors, this becomes a vicious cycle. You may take a pill to ease anxiety or get a full night's rest, but the next morning you feel groggy, forgetful, or unsteady. That often leads to taking even more medication, stacking the risks higher and higher. And just like with anticholinergics, the effects don't always reverse once you stop. Long-term use can leave behind lasting changes in brain structure. So what's the alternative? Doctors today often recommend non-drug solutions first. Cognitive behavioral therapy, breathing techniques, and simple lifestyle adjustments can calm anxiety and improve sleep without altering brain chemistry. For some, supplements like melatonin or magnesium can help regulate natural sleep rhythms. And when medication is truly necessary, newer prescriptions are available that don't carry the same dementia risk. If you've been on a benzodiazepine for years, don't stop abruptly. These drugs can cause withdrawal symptoms if discontinued too quickly. Instead, talk with your doctor about a safe tapering plan and explore healthier ways to manage sleep or anxiety. Many seniors find that once they reduce or eliminate benzodiazepines, their clarity improves, their mornings feel sharper, and their memory rebounds. The bottom line? While benzodiazepines may seem like a small pill with big benefits, the long-term price is steep. Protecting your memory means protecting your REM sleep and avoiding the GABA overload that erodes your brain's wiring. Now let's move to another group of medications often mistaken as safe, the so-called Z drugs, which include Ambien, Lunesta, and Sonata. They're marketed as modern sleep aids, different from the older sedatives, and millions of seniors rely on them to get through the night. But here's the unsettling truth. Instead of restoring healthy sleep, these drugs silently rob your brain of the very stages of rest that protect memory. Here's what happens. Sleep is not just about closing your eyes. It's a carefully orchestrated process with stages that cycle through light sleep, deep sleep, and REM. Z drugs may help you fall asleep faster, but they fragment deep sleep, breaking up the stage where the brain does its nightly cleaning. This stage, known as slow-wave sleep, is when the glymphatic system kicks in. It's essentially your brain's sanitation crew, flushing out toxins like beta-amyloid, the sticky protein strongly linked to Alzheimer's. When this cleansing is interrupted night after night, waste builds up in brain tissue. Over time, the result is exactly what you fear most: faster memory decline, more brain fog, and a higher risk of dementia. So while you may feel you've gotten a full night's rest with Ambien or Lunesta, your brain has been deprived of the renewal it desperately needs. Studies confirm this. A major analysis published in BMJ Open found that seniors who regularly used Z drugs had a significantly higher chance of developing dementia compared to non-users. Even more concerning, the effect appeared dose-dependent. The higher the use, the greater the risk. Researchers believe that years of interrupted deep sleep accelerate the toxic buildup that drives Alzheimer's progression. And here's another layer. Z drugs also impair coordination and balance. Many seniors report feeling groggy or unsteady the next day, increasing the risk of falls and fractures. That means these medications don't just threaten your memory, they threaten your independence. So what can you do instead? For many older adults, non-drug solutions work surprisingly well. Building a consistent sleep routine, limiting caffeine in the afternoon, and keeping your bedroom dark and cool can restore natural rhythms. Supplements like melatonin or magnesium may also improve sleep quality without disrupting slow-wave rest. Herbal teas such as chamomile or valerian root are another safe option. If you're currently on a Z drug, remember, never quit suddenly. Talk to your doctor about tapering and replacing them with healthier alternatives. Seniors who make this switch often notice not only better sleep, but also clearer mornings, steadier balance, and sharper recall. The lesson here is clear. Sleep is when your brain heals itself. When that process is hijacked by medications that seem harmless, the cost is your memory, clarity, and long-term brain health. Protecting your deep sleep is one of the most powerful steps you can take against dementia. The fourth group of medications to be especially careful with are strong antihistamines and tricyclic antidepressants. Names like hydroxyzine, doxepin, and amitriptyline might sound familiar. These drugs are often prescribed for sleep, allergies, anxiety, or even chronic pain. At first, they seem helpful, calming nerves, easing itching, or making it easier to drift off at night. But beneath that relief lies a hidden cost. They interfere with critical brain chemicals that keep your memory and attention sharp. Here's how they work. Both strong antihistamines and tricyclic antidepressants are heavily sedating. They block neurotransmitters such as histamine, norepinephrine, and acetylcholine, signals your brain depends on to stay alert, focused, and mentally flexible. Without these signals, the brain feels dulled, reaction times slow, and over time, recall becomes harder and harder. The effect is not just short-term grogginess. With repeated use, these drugs can leave lasting imprints on brain function. Imagine trying to drive with your headlights dimmed and your windshield fogged. You can still move forward, but every decision takes longer, and every mistake becomes more dangerous. That's the reality for many seniors who take these medications regularly. Scientific evidence supports this. Studies have shown that long-term users of tricyclic antidepressants and sedating antihistamines experience more confusion, higher rates of memory loss, and an increased risk of dementia. Researchers note that these medications amplify cognitive decline in older adults because the aging brain is already more vulnerable to neurotransmitter imbalances. In fact, some geriatric specialists classify these drugs as high risk for seniors due to their strong anticholinergic and sedative effects. And here's the troubling part. Many people don't even realize they're taking them. Some of these medications are prescribed for sleep or pain at low doses, so they seem harmless. But the brain doesn't distinguish between a small nightly dose and a strong one. The sedative effect builds up, especially when combined with other medications, creating a fog that lingers well into the day. So what are the alternatives? For allergies, non-sedating antihistamines, such as loratadine or fexofenadine, can control symptoms without dulling the brain. For sleep, natural options like melatonin, magnesium glycinate, or herbal teas provide gentler support without disrupting neurotransmitters. And for mood disorders or nerve pain, newer antidepressants are available that don't carry the same dementia risk. The key is to discuss options openly with your healthcare provider rather than staying on medications that silently erode your memory. Many seniors who reduce or eliminate these sedating drugs notice improvements within weeks: sharper mornings, better focus, and less daytime fatigue. Some even describe it as getting their mind back. And that's exactly the point. Protecting your independence and your memories means being cautious about any drug that clouds attention or blocks critical neurotransmitters. In short, while strong antihistamines and tricyclic antidepressants may seem like simple fixes for common problems, they come at a steep price. For seniors, that price is accelerated memory loss and an increased risk of dementia. Choosing safer options can mean the difference between decades of sharp thinking and years of unnecessary confusion. To sum it all up, exploring these 4 categories of medications has revealed something many seniors never expect. The very drugs meant to bring comfort or relief can silently harm the brain. From anticholinergics that block memory circuits, to benzodiazepines that strip away restorative REM sleep, to Z drugs that fragment deep rest, and finally to strong antihistamines and tricyclic antidepressants that cloud focus and recall. Each one carries a hidden toll on cognition. The good news is that you're not powerless. Safer options exist, from non-sedating allergy medicines and herbal teas, to natural sleep supports like melatonin and magnesium, to modern antidepressants designed with seniors in mind. But the most important step is awareness. Knowing which drugs to question gives you the ability to protect your brain before lasting damage sets in. As you grow older, every choice matters more. The medications you take daily can either protect or undermine your independence, your memories, and your quality of life. That's why it's critical to have open conversations with your doctor, never stop a prescription suddenly on your own, and explore safer alternatives where possible. Early action is key. The longer these drugs are used, the greater the risk to memory and cognition. By making changes today, you may protect not just your brain health, but also your confidence, clarity, and freedom in the years ahead. If you found this information valuable, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll continue bringing you essential health tips that could make a real difference in your life. Stay informed, stay healthy, and protect your memory.